What's up? What's up?
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake up.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna stream, but then I got like anxious, so I thought I'd come on for a little bit. I probably won't be on for long, but
Haters face the world's mistakes. Wake up to the back of the pack, we kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake up to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play. Haters face the world's mistakes. Wake up to the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
what's up? What's up?
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals.
Nobody's
with
watching The
Will
Office.
Bird.
Don't worry about
I
it.
think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and
think
I'm just like
something's
very
going on in my throat.
intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for the resubscription. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. I'm working off some nervous energy. My doctor's appointment's tomorrow. Yeah, kind of wigging out about that, but I'm here. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Bard. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Yeah, I figured I'd go live for a little bit, just because I was getting like super anxious. I know everybody else is probably anxious over the fucking Donald Trump told the citizens of Tehran in Iran, the capital, right, to evacuate the capital. And then he left the G7 early. Then it leaks that potentially he has a ceasefire deal between Israel and Iran. But why would you tell people to evacuate the capital if you have a peacefire deal? Uh-oh. Thank you very much for the buy me a coffee, 3 6-packs. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. What is, if there's a peace deal, why are you telling people to evacuate the capital? When there's a statement like that, like evacuate the capital, it implies that there is going to be casualties if you do not evacuate the capital. Like, not to mention, the shit's going to be huge, right? Like somebody said in comments, there was like 10 million people in the city and like 15 million if you count like the outlying communities. Like, that's insane. Get out of there, guys. Who knows? Hell, we might be in war with Iran overnight. So we'll see. There's been a lot of air traffic that's been kind of suspicious. Let's see if Preston Stewart did it. He could probably explain it better than I can. There was a lot of refueling tankers, right? Air-to-air tankers that were all headed over to Europe. There's been some more assets moved away from the area that are not to be used in a war with Iran. Pretty scary. Let's just see what's going on. Oh, this is from 9 hours ago. He might not have an update on it. I just don't. So what? Other than like Israel having Trump by the dick, this doesn't make sense. Okay? We all hate what's going on with ICE. But Trump's core and a lot of, I'll get to that in a second, and a lot of the Republican lawmakers who don't want to lose their position within the party, they love it. And Trump treats shit like a TV show. It doesn't make sense that he would start this when he's on an upswing with his base, with his core support, with the Republican Party and the mass deportations. He's still even tweeting out about mass deportations, and he's authorized them to take any action necessary, blah, 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 whatever. Like, this is more like something Trump would do when he's been getting some bad press and it's kind of boring. Not like what he would do in the middle of his gigantic push for these mass deportations. It just seems weird. Weird timing.
Confirmation that the United States is moving like 32 refueling aircraft and a carrier strike group to the Middle East amidst the rising tensions between Israel and Iran. Well, not really rising tensions anymore, right? It's an open war between the two. But nonetheless, we just got...
They both struck multiple times now.
Confirmation from the U.S. government that the USS Nimitz carrier strike group is on its way to the Middle East from the South China Sea. So once again, we're pulling assets from the Pacific to the Middle East. This was very similar to the USS Carl Vinson that, again...
It's got to just be him blustering, right? You can't evacuate a city that quick. We're not going to nuke a city that with that size population, right? I would hope we wouldn't.
Same process a few months ago to assist with operations against the Houthis, and the idea was maybe they'd be there if things kicked off with Iran. So for a period of time, undetermined, because they're not going to announce deployment schedules, we will have 2 carrier strike groups in the Middle East. Additionally, we've got the 32 refueling aircraft taking off, landing in locations all throughout Europe. Those could be utilized by Israeli aircraft if we decided to get a little bit more involved and help them stay in the air a little bit longer to continue striking Iranian targets. That's something we've trained extensively. Then you look at all like Juniper Oak, the type operations, the United States and Israel training together, refueling refueling operations is one of those. Of course, U.S. refuelers could also be used for U.S. aircraft if we decided to get directly involved. But nonetheless, we are seeing a fair number of U.S. assets move in the direction of the Middle East. That on its own is not an indication that a strike is coming or military action is coming, just kind of getting us ready in case that decision is made.
By the way, this is scary, of course. But speaking of Tucker Carlson, if you didn't think he was morally bankrupt before, which I think most of us do, like he would say anything for a paycheck, right? It just depends. You just got to find out who's paying. He would literally say anything. He did an interview just the other day, maybe yesterday, where he's on a podcast and he's talking about Fox News. And he's like, they're just spreading fear propaganda to their elderly viewers over on Fox. Yeah, but that's what you did when you were there. They haven't changed anything, right? They haven't, and that's exactly what you toed the line when you were there. Yes, it's propaganda. Yes, it's made for elderly people who don't understand anything else. Yeah, but that's what you did as well. So that's the latest. Is a lot of air refueling, carrier strike group to the Middle East, from at least from Preston Stewart.
Satellite imagery coming out.
And those are the targets there that were just hit. I don't know. Yeah, it's scary. Let's see if we can find. Let's do this. He was at the G7, and then he dropped this blank agreement.
You all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed.
All right, Prime Minister of the UK. Now, there's no need to open this whatsoever. In fact, it's only blank paper. There are no words on it. There's just a signature.
A document. This is. Sorry about that. A very important document.
I'm joking. There could be words on it. We can't see anything. There's no reason to open this, right, at all. He could have just held it up. So we signed a deal.
A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it.
Windy? It's not windy. You just dumped it on the ground.
This is. Sorry about that.
What do you mean wind? So again, who's he talking to, chat? The UK. He's talking to the UK.
A very important document. A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done. And so we have our trade agreement with the European Union.
Maybe not. Maybe. We all know the Prime Minister of the UK. Here we are with the EU.
Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is. Sorry about that. A very important document. A little windy out here. Give me that. We just signed it, and it's done. And so
they left, right? Brexit. They left in. Was that 2020? Man, it seems like so long ago. It was a 2016 vote for a 2020 exit or something like that.
We have our trade agreement with the European Union, and it's a fair deal for both. Going to produce a lot of jobs, a lot of income, and we have many other ones coming. But you see the
I think mostly everybody's just confused around him, right?
Level of enthusiasm is very good, but the relationship that we have is fantastic. So I just want to congratulate you.
But Donald, thank you very much. This now implements on car tariffs and aerospace, our really important agreement. And so this is a very good day for both of our countries, a real sign of strength. So
the rest of the world just, I mean, you might expect this from a different country, right? But we've got like a maniac at the fucking wheel. The rest of the world's just holding their breath to see what we're going to fuck up.
Thank you again, Donald. A really important day for both of us.
Great people.
Has anything changed in the agreement since you spoke on the phone from the Oval Office?
How much?
No. This is implemented.
We all know.
Nope, this is implementing. he has a press conference that has to be shut down by the host country because he's going off the rails, talking about Ukraine, talking about Russia. For some reason, he says that Trudeau convinced Obama to kick Russia out of the G7, which was the G8. This was in 2014. The reason that Russia was kicked out of the G7 was because the annexation of Crimea. The problem is Trudeau wasn't even elected until the very next year. So Trudeau didn't convince Obama to do anything.
Some breaking news right now in terms of President Trump and the ongoing conflict.
5,600 milliamp hour camera. Yeah.
Between Israel and Iran. I want to put this up here on Live Now from Fox from Truth Social.
Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame. What a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran.
Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. So some stark warning there from the President of the United States after we're seeing different interactions between Israel and Iran in the last several days. Of course, following it very closely here on Live Now from Fox, as we heard over the weekend reporting that President Trump had vetoed.
In a very weird, maybe pre-planned change of fate, Gazprom, the Russian oil and gas company, it's basically state-owned, even though it's not technically state-owned, it basically is, may now be saved. Because Israel is targeting the oil fields of Iran. Iran has a lot of oil fields, but they have a lot of shit in Iraq, right? Gazprom has been trying to get the Iraq market, and now they're back in the running for that and maybe making a shit ton of money off of it, enough to save their company. It looked like it was going to go under for a while.
Vetoed a Israeli plan to take out the Supreme.
Yeah, imagine evacuating L.A. Imagine evacuating L.A. in an hour.
Leader in Iran. I don't know how much we can read into these words in terms of directly impacting it, but certainly a stark warning for Iran, for Tehran, saying everyone should immediately evacuate. So we're following this closely here on Live Now from Fox, and we'll continue to break down the latest on anything that we know that unfolds in real time from that area in the Middle East. Some breaking news right now.
Here's the weird ass press conference, dude. Nobody talks to Putin. He talks to me. He won't talk to anybody else. He should be here.
Have you heard any signals or seen any messages from intermediaries that Iran wishes to de-escalate the conflict?
Yeah,
What have you heard? What have you heard from the Iranians?
they'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days, and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk, and they should talk immediately before.
It's going to be hard for either one of those countries to destroy the other country, right? You're talking about a gigantic troop movement a long ways. A long way. Their drones are flying 8 hours to strike. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to get boots on the ground in either country?
Or it's too late.
And what would you say, in your opinion, what would it take for the U.S. to get involved in this conflict militarily?
I don't want to talk about that.
Have you seen?
He doesn't want to talk about that.
Wow. So Donald
Here's
Trump
some of the more unhinged parts of it.
just blew up and ruined the G7 in Alberta, Canada, really before it even took place. Prime Minister Carney, Donald Trump, and other world leaders were at a press conference responding to questions really before.
By the way, is any of my people from Canada in here? Before Trudeau was a guy named Harper, I think, and he was a conservative.
the summit took place in earnest, and Donald Trump started praising Vladimir Putin, bragging about how Putin only wants to talk to Donald Trump. Trump started attacking democratic cities in the United States, and so Prime Minister Carney literally had to exercise his role as the G7 chair.
Imagine going to the G7 and all you can talk about is Democratic governors and mayors and cities in the United States. Like, you're not there. What the fuck are you doing?
To stop the press conference because it was just getting so utterly humiliating for Donald Trump and frankly for the whole G7 as a result of Donald Trump's unhinged behavior. Watch what went down moments ago. Play this clip.
All Democrat
It was not Trudeau talking to Obama that kicked out Russia.
cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
Thank you. If you don't mind, just exercise.
Let's say Trump does round up millions of fucking illegals. Do you think the vote for president is going to change any? What are they going to say when the vote doesn't change at all? Because those people don't fucking vote.
My role, if you will, as a G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you, media. Let's go. Thank you, Bob. That's it. Thank you very much. Out.
Marco Rubio, you may hate him. You might not like his policies. He said some stuff that's over the line. But he is 1 billion% sold out for Trump, right? Like stuff he said he would never do or say, he is now doing and saying, and it bites him in the ass because there's all these clips of him saying these things, doing these things. He was just a regular conservative. Even when Trump ran the first time, he wasn't this crazy.
Katie, let's go.
That's right, Sage.
Thank you.
Are you seriously going to check out?
Let's go. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go.
Here we go.
So before Canadian Prime Minister Carney had to really shut down that press conference, Donald Trump was bragging about how Vladimir Putin speaks to him, and Trump would say, Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anyone else. He just speaks to me. Play this clip.
China, the biggest economy in the world after the United States.
Well, it's not a bad idea. I don't mind that. If somebody wants to suggest China coming in, I think we suggest, but you want to have people that you can talk to. You know, they don't talk to. Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anybody else. He doesn't want to talk because he was very insulted when he got thrown out of the G8, as I would be, as you would be, as anybody would be. He was very insulted. And
Yeah, if you annex another fucking country, you're probably getting thrown out. I don't, it's not like they're just like, hey, we don't like him. He's weird. Get him out of here.
I mean, he was thrown out by Trudeau, who convinced one or two people, along with Obama. He was thrown out.
Trudeau, who could convince one or two people, literally before he was elected.
And he's not a happy person about it, I can tell you that. He basically doesn't even speak to the people that throw him out, and I agree with him.
Then Donald Trump complains that the G7 used to be the G8, but Trump says that Obama and Trudeau kicked Putin out, and that was very bad. That was the wrong move. Again, like, why would you even need? Wow. So Donald Trump just blew up.
Speaking of Sage, that's in the comments. Sage and I interviewed somebody one time that wrote a book, and the book was Putin's Playbook, and it's actually a really good book. All right, it talks about Putin and all the stuff that he does, and how he does it, and what he thinks about, and how he plans it out, and how he's looking at the future, and how he's using social media and misinformation, all that shit. But apparently, she likes to drink as well. Apparently, she likes to drink a lot. A lot. Sage actually interviewed her, but I was there as part of it.
Now is former defense intel.
By the way, here's her post. It says, well, at POTUS is apparently encroaching on my airtime. My hits, which is like her coming on, her interview, is moved to 8:20 to 8:30. Depending on how long Trump takes. I'm honored refilling my champagne glass while waiting for my hits. Let's see how many times she refilled that champagne glass. You ready?
Agency officer Rebecca Koffler. Rebecca, what are your thoughts tonight on the incredible symbolism and the message?
Damn it, she's over to the side. I gotta pop it out here. And there she is. Now look at that face. I think she got into some of that champagne. I'm not positive, but it looks like maybe she got into some of that champagne. Holy shit.
Gene, that we saw here tonight from the Commander-in-Chief on the Army's 250th birthday.
I am so excited, Emily and Lucas Tomlinson. Everybody, like, this is incredible. Finally, the United States is back. I want to really thank all of our Army, Navy, and Air Force officers who have been
And she was a defense intelligence officer. Like, she probably knows better than to appear like this, but whatever.
sacrificing their lives, literally.
Yeah, 8:30 p.m. or so.
Families have been contributing to the mission. Most of the time for the past quarter of a century, because of the mismanagement of the administrative states, they've been fighting these foreign wars. But with our new in chief, Donald J. Trump, they are prioritizing America first. And I want to thank these officers for all of these sacrifices and all of the hardships that their families have been doing. Lawrence Jones, you are doing, you're laughing, man. Like,
She can see him like smiling, right? And she's like, "You're laughing, man."
Lucas,
thank you.
I want to thank.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you for your service, too.
They brought out the big hook to drag her off the stage.
Patriotic celebration when we return.
Damn. That was pretty rough. All right, let's move on. Yes, we might be at war with Iran. If you want to support the show before we all die, or at least end up in another war in the Middle East, you can do that at coldbrew.fund. That's how we pay the bills. We're a little bit short this month, but hopefully this is the last month. I hope. And if you need better cell phone service, I would not go with a Trump-branded device. Just saying.
So Trump just announced a phone today that he's going to sell to his supporters that he claims is made in
The phone absolutely is not made in the USA. It is a knockoff of a Chinese model. 100%.
America, which I call bullshit, so I did a bunch of research to try to figure out what he's selling you. In case you missed it, Trump Mobile got announced today with their very first phone that is made in the USA, which seems impossible.
God, so many boomers are going to be switching to this, dude. So many.
If you know anything about supply chains.
And it's like super expensive. $47.45 a month is expensive for a prepaid phone.
Or how phones are built. And it's going to be ready in September. So he's selling this thing for $499.
Look at this. Model is a T1 8002 gold version. 6.8, 6.78 inch punch hole, which is the type of camera where the camera's at. See the hole? AMOLED screen. 120 hertz refresh rate. 50 megapixel main camera. 5,000 milliamp hour long life camera. 5,000 milliamp hour and long life go with battery. Those would be words that describe a battery. Not a camera. Fingerprint sensor and AI face unlock. It also comes preloaded with like True Social and a bunch of other weird bloatware, but
$9. It's an obvious cheap Android phone that comes with 5,000 milliamps of long life camera. Might have meant battery, but, reading comprehension, who needs it? Along with the phone, it's also an entire cell network, so it's one of those piggyback networks.
So this is just like we have Straight Talk, and there's like Boost and Mint, and they pay a fee to use other companies' towers, right? They don't go install towers, and it's a piggyback network. So my phone works off Verizon towers, even though it's not Verizon. It's the exact same as having Verizon. And we switched up long ass time ago. As soon as we started looking at the prepaid lines, as soon as Verizon basically, we were grandfathered in on unlimited data, and then they tried to force us off unlimited data when data becomes such a big deal by not letting us upgrade our phone, and that's when we went to prepaid. But yeah, it's a piggyback network. Why not go to Mint Mobile You can pay for a year, or it's 6 months or a year in advance at $15 a month for unlimited everything. Like, other than, it's a cool way to support the president, someone said.
Like Mint Mobile or whatever, but somehow way more expensive, like twice as expensive. But he gets to do a funny little meme with 4745. That'll drive conversions, I bet. But I'm pretty sure this is what we're looking at. It's a Umidigi A15 Pro out of China. You can't actually...
Umidigi? That sounds super American. I guess nobody's gonna. I mean, he's in charge of like the fucking FEC and the SEC. Who's gonna prove it's not made in America?
Buy them online, but the specs and the images seem to basically match what's on the market.
There's no way they're making this phone for $500 in America, right? There's already a company that makes a phone in America that the specs are not as good as this one, and it's like $2,000 to be made in America. But that's their selling point. Hey, we're all made in America. These phone usually cost about $130 with as close options as you could get. They have a little bit different options on their knockoff version. But if you price it out somewhere between $130, $150, and they're selling it for $500.
Even though you can't get that exact same one, this one is close in specs. Looks a little different, but you can get it for $129 on Amazon. It's not gold though, so if that's what you were looking for, you gotta get the Trump one. So my best guess is that
I would like to know who the actual operator. I'm sure it's a licensing deal. I'd like to know who the actual operator is. License its name to launch a U.S. mobile service, $4.99 smartphone on Monday, calling it Trump Mobile, and the latest deal brokered by the president's children to capitalize on his name while he's in office. The new mobile venture announced that Trump Tower in Manhattan will operate using networks of the three major U.S. wireless carriers. Some key details about the venture, including those about the family's partner in the business and financial terms of their licensing deal, were not immediately disclosed. So it doesn't look like they put it out yet. It's just more like a teaser right now, I guess. There's no way he's making a $500 phone in the U.S.
That they're going to import a bunch of these from China, pop off the casings, put on some Trump branding, pre-installed Truth Social, and the masses are going to eat it up at a 300% markup.
At a 300% markup. That should be good. You guys planning on switching? I don't care who the president is. I'm not sure I want them to have to go to them for a phone service. Like, I know the NSA is probably all over my phone already, but is that who we want to go to? I don't know.
Is the United States sending mid-air refueling tanker aircraft to support Israel? Tanker aircraft essentially act as flying gas stations for fighters and bombers. This allows you to refuel in midair so you can greatly extend your range. And yeah, if the United States was going to perform some sort of action against Iran, they would need refueling tankers. Some people noticed a sizable amount of tankers heading over the Atlantic tonight, and they posted it to X. Now, I don't think these tankers are heading over to the Middle East to support operations against Iran, mainly because we already have bombers at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. And any place you put bombs...
You'd have to be worried for the tankers, I guess. You'd have to be worried for it's for refueling. I mean, we're not going to plan on getting in dogfights and shit unless you're going to refuel for Israel.
Bombers, you're going to place tanker assets nearby. So odds are we already have tankers in the region. So where are all these aircraft going? Well, there's a big exercise going on in Finland right now called Atlantic Trident 25, and tankers are going to be supporting that exercise. So I believe
maybe
these aircraft are just going to support Atlantic Trident 25. Is the United States sending mid-air refueling tanker aircraft to support Israel?
President Trump took a shot at pundit Tucker Carlson, a former Fox News host and one of his most reliable allies in the media, over the commentator's criticism of the president's posture towards Iran. Somebody please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, Trump wrote on his Truth Social website Monday evening. Trump's attack on the longtime cable news host turned podcast and multimedia personality came just hours after reporters asked him about Carlson's urging that the U.S. stay out of a quickly escalating war between Israel and Iran. I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen. This is how fucking out of touch Trump is. More people will see it on the internet than they'll ever see it on a fucking TV. The president said during a meeting with the British Prime Minister at the Group of Seven summit, and even he left early on Monday due to the ongoing crisis in the Middle East. Carlson was a leading host at Fox News for years, hosted a primetime show. That was his favorite program, the president and many of his followers. After being fired, Carlson remains a large supporter of much of Trump's agenda. Hell, what's his name? That comedian Dave Smith or whatever, he was calling for Trump to be impeached over this. Like, what the fuck? Impeached? No new wars. If Trump was in office, that wouldn't have happened. I can tell you that much. All right, back to the shooter. We got some information about the Minnesota shooter. First, this. It's, again, his roommate. This guy's not only his roommate. This guy's been friends with him since they were kids. The guy has a wife and kids, right, and has a house a couple hours away. But when he's in town working, that's his roommate. Also, I called it. The security company is completely fake. I said that last night. Obviously, he wants a security company, and he's padding the fuck out of it. Like, he does not have a security company. He's the type of guy that makes it look like he does on paper because that's what he wants to do, and he thinks that's the way, like, fake it till you make it kind of deal.
Well, everyone's calling him a Democrat. It's not a Democrat. He would be offended if people called him a Democrat.
He would be offended if people called him a Democrat.
Because of this board thing he was on for Governor Walz, he was just serving the community. I can't believe a political issue would cause such.
Did he ever bring up the senator or the representative?
The roommate said he didn't like Nancy Pelosi. He didn't like Tim Walz. He didn't like Joe Biden. None of those people. He never made like threats towards them, but obviously he didn't like them.
Targeted.
Like I was saying, no, he never talked about them. I didn't know. I didn't recognize her.
Any politicians he mentioned?
Nancy Pelosi. They didn't like Jim Walz.
There it is.
Didn't like Jim Biden.
Didn't like Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, nothing. It's just normal. Well, I don't like this, that Tim Walz did this. I don't like that they did that.
Did he mention the protests that were planned for yesterday?
He never mentioned the protests.
What do you make of everything that's happened here? And the fact
Maybe
that
I mentioned it to him, but I don't think he mentioned anything about it.
What would you tell him?
I would tell him to surrender himself.
I don't know. There's no way. Like, if I wanted to speak about a message that was sent to me to the media, there's no way I would handle my phone or even flash my phone in front of them. There's no goddamn way.
So he can be taken alive because he's like my best friend, so I don't want him to be killed. I don't want him to kill anyone else, So I think if I saw him, I could talk him down. But
So they said, well, what about the security company? He's like, he doesn't own a security company. He wants a security company. That's what he wants to do. And he thinks that maybe he can use his experience with his mission trips and, working for these food companies, blah, 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 whatever. So he went ahead and bought a couple cars at auction, like 2 different police cars or converted police cars for security and printed up flyers and did this, did that. That's why his wife is like the vice or the CEO or whatever, or the vice president. He's the president. It was just something that he wanted to get into, but he says he's the type of guy to like kind of jump first and then figure it all out later.
And did he listen to any particular podcasts or TV shows or anything online that concerns you?
Well, you listen to InfoWars.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Such a liberal, guys. He's what a liberal.
InfoWars, but I kind of said, well, it's like 50% truth. And, I kind of said, don't take everything what they say for granted. I wasn't a real truthful. I mean, they're on for some.
Guys, I talk about this all the time. There is a movie I watched one time, okay? And I may be combining multiple movies, but this is what I remember about it, and we still haven't found it this day. There is an Alex Jones-style character in the movie. almost just like Alex Jones. And there's a female news reporter. And there's a guy that watches Alex Jones who's also in love with the female news reporter. She wants to get an inside story about this Alex Jones figure. So she teams up with this creepy guy who's in love with her, I think, and they're in his van, a creepy van. And they are driving to do this news story. In some roundabout way, she's exposing this Alex Jones type figure. But at the very end of the movie, the guy that's in love with her shoots the Alex Jones figure, kills him, and she becomes the Alex Jones figure. That's a movie that exists. And I cannot find it again. It does exist. I've watched it before. We've talked about it probably 10 times on the show. We never found it.
Some things, but some things are way off.
Did he talk much about Trump? And what did he say if so?
I was a Trump supporter. Voted for Trump. You like Trump? I like Trump.
He liked Trump. I like Trump. Let's talk about some more theories around it. Here is Elder Millennial. We all know he's retarded. You want to see more confirmation? Here we go.
So I just had to double check the definition of premeditated. I was very sure I knew what it meant. Of an action, especially a crime, thought out or planned beforehand. Right?
Makes sense. Premeditated is of an action, especially a crime, thought out and planned beforehand. Okay. Premeditated. That's what that means.
I think we all know that definition. I'm not sure if the 4th Judicial District in the state of Minnesota does. Because Vance Bolter, the man charged in the shootings of the 2 congresspeople, he's charged with murder in the 2nd degree with intent, not premeditated. Okay, so I get the murder. Why is it in the 2nd degree? And why is it not premeditated? Just so we have an understanding of this.
All right, so let's stop. Without any conspiracy whatsoever, why is there a reason that he may be charged with 2nd degree murder and not 1st degree murder? Let's put on our thinking caps, chat. Why might this guy, who clearly seems to have committed 1st degree murder, currently be charged with 2nd degree murder? What do you think? What do we got? A clone? Yeah. No. Any ideas? Oftentimes, this is not the case here, but oftentimes it's easier to get the lesser charge that they're definitely guilty of while you're building a case to present for a bigger charge, right? Oftentimes it is. That's not the case here. But often they'll bring a lesser charge and then it'll be bumped up because we need something to charge them with to hold them in custody, right? And it'll be bumped up later on. But if you would have used Google for 30 goddamn seconds, you would have found out that no one in the state of Minnesota can be charged with 1st degree murder without a grand jury indictment. I found it. I don't know why you couldn't find it, other than your sources are literal Twitter memes. You need a grand jury indictment. Do you think that they've held a grand jury in 2 days? No? But let's hear his theory.
The primary difference between 1st degree and 2nd degree murder lies in the intent and planning involved in the killing. 1st degree murder is characterized by premeditation and deliberation, meaning the killer planned the act in advance. 2nd degree murder, on the other hand, is an intentional killing that occurs without such premeditation, often involving extreme recklessness or indifference for human life. What he did is 100% premeditation and 100% intent. He fucking shot them. That was not just recklessness for human life. He wasn't shooting randomly and they got hit. No, he planned this. Apparently wrote a fucking manifesto that still hasn't been released for some reason.
They're hung up on this manifesto. I think it was just a list of names.
According to the police, had a list of other people he was going after. So
I know he uses right-wing Twitter memes as his sources. I busted him several times on it. There's a meme on Twitter right now that says, oh, I thought he did this and this and this with a manifesto. Does that sound like second-degree murder to you? No premeditation?
This charge makes no sense whatsoever. And the weird thing, in the charge description, they say that acting with an intent to kill caused the death of victim 1, acting with an intent to kill caused the death of victim 2. So even the court acknowledges the intent, but for some reason charged him with second-degree murder, not premeditated. Yeah, there's something up with this case, because that does...
yeah, gotta be something. This guy's a fucking liberal, and he's only getting charged with second-degree murder.
Any fucking sense at all.
You know the charges can be changed, and they're not all-inclusive, right? So that's one of them. That's one of the videos that come out tonight. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, does this look like a Republican? Like, it's...
Wait a second. Hold on, let's talk about it.
Yeah, does
that look like a Republican, chat? This one says, I think, therefore I am a Democrat. And that one is holding a gun that says resist. And they're at a BLM rally. This is a real photo. Does that look like a Republican? No, not particularly, no. Especially not like this MAGA version of Republicans. It does not.
Look like a Republican? Like, it's just a question for all you liberals saying that Vance Bolter, the suspect in the shooting of those 2 Minnesota lawmakers...
Oh, Vance Bolter? That has something to do with this?
You guys are claiming he's a Republican, and your only evidence of that is his neighbor saying he was a Trump supporter. Now, you don't have any...
Not his neighbor. The guy he lived with when he was in town working.
Actual evidence of him being a Republican, because in Minnesota, you don't register by political party. So he didn't register as a Republican because he couldn't possibly have registered as a Democrat or a Republican. Like, seriously, your entire basis for saying that he's a Republican is that his neighbor said he was, and then you have video.
We've heard him speak. We've seen the posts he shares. We've seen his social media. His roommate and childhood friend. He was targeting Democrats in abortion clinics and people that worked at abortion clinics. We've heard him preach, dude. Thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate it.
Video of him attending church, because I guess going to church, Democrats don't do that, I guess. So I just love to know about...
What's weird about this picture, chat? Any guesses? It's not the guy. That's not him. This woman here, her name is Lily Schechter. This woman here that says, I think, therefore I am a Democrat. And she is the party chair for the Harris County Democratic Party. And that's her husband. It's not even the guy. But again, there is a right-wing meme. Hold on, I just show it to you. Vance Bolter. There's a right-wing meme that cat turd and everybody shared, floating around that says, "Oh yeah, such a MAGA Republican." Blah, 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 blah. So that's his news source, and he doesn't check in. It's not even the right guy. I can't believe he has such a large following when his sources are literally memes that he scrolls through Twitter, he finds these memes, and he's like, here we go. I'm going to present this as fact. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that, I know Cat Turd shared it. Let's go there. I think it's even got a community note on it now. It didn't earlier. Unless they took it down, it's still up. Let's see. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. That's Florida. That's Trump. Oh, of course, you got to share the Trump phones. Yeah, you killed it. I don't get the sweaty Papa John's guy, like saying that he doesn't speak very well, or that he's poor, or that he works at Papa John's, or that he's fat and sweaty. If we were going to hire an actor, we could have hired a better actor. Like, what are you arguing with? Like, we could have hired a better actor. People are just weird sometimes, right? People don't do very good interviews a lot of the time. Like, people are just fucking weirdos. Oh, no, did you see how he stuttered? It sounded almost like he said Jim Biden instead of Joe Biden. Yep, he's an actor. Why wouldn't we get a better actor? Wait, what is wrong with you all? I don't understand how the left can have all this money, all the inside, all the wealth, all the political insiders and assassins and crisis actors, and they use the absolute worst fucking people every time. So you can just see right, you and Alex Jones just see right through it. The fuck is wrong with you people? Sorry, I was trying to find the meme. Cat Turd might have deleted the one that he shared. I know he shared it because I saw somebody comment on it. Or maybe someone shared it under his post. That could have been true, too. But yeah, that's not even the fucking guy, dude. How ridiculous to share some other guy. Someone actually did the deep dive. They got his name. They got other pictures of him. And, of course, there's plenty of pictures of her. But how far out of their way did they have to go? I mean, what would you even search to try to find a guy that looks like this other guy, but not too much like him, but enough like him that you could pass it off on the internet and people like the elder millennial will repeat it? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't see it now. Hold on. Here it is. Here's from MAGA 1775, sharing it. Vance Bolter rocking a Resist shirt, and she's next to him's wearing a Think Therefore I Am Democrat. That this ain't MAGA gear. That's the uniform of the unhinged left. He's not one of us. He's one of yours. Own it. Like, what do you even search? I guess you could do a reverse image search. Maybe. To find somebody that looks passably like him, Vance Luther Bolter is a liberal fanatic. Sadly, he is your average liberal voter. Here's a picture of him with his Resist shirt. CBS News is falsely calling him a Republican. CBS has zero credibility. Well, if CBS shared this, they would have very low credibility because that's not him. Why do they need him to be a Democrat? Because how fucking violent their party is. And because they jumped on the bandwagon way too early. They just started Googling his name. They found one time he was on a board under Democratic governors, 2 different ones, and they're like, oh, he's a Democrat. And then it come out that everything's against that. And they're like, oh, he's still a Democrat. No, everybody's lying. His roommate's lying. The media's lying. The voter database is lying. This is lying. And they don't. The left is really the party of violence. MAGA thought I didn't have receipts. Here are all the facts that Vance Bolter, MAGA Christian nationalist, white domestic terrorist, Democrat killer case.
You motherfuckers are gonna learn to stop playing with me. I posted earlier about the Vance Bolter situation, a MAGA Christian nationalist that was arrested for shooting the 2 Democrats in Minnesota this morning. All I see in my comment section up and down is such a made-up term, MAGA Christian nationalist. Ooh, show me the proof that he's a Christian nationalist. Bro, think you acted too quickly. Suspect in lawmaker assassination was a Tim Walz appointee. He was hired by Tim Walz, had the pile of shit No Kings flyers and pamphlets in his car. He's a Democrat. Okay, I'll make time for you bitches. Let's go line by line. Number 1, where's my proof that he's a Christian nationalist? Vance Bolter posted on March 5th, 2023, Unity in the Body of Christ. Vance Bolter is a self-proclaimed pastor who has spent his time going through Africa proselytizing the word of Christ. And while he was doing that, he was regurgitating anti-trans, anti-LGBT doctrine and coupling that with American values.
People, especially in America, they don't know what sex they are. They don't know how their sexual orientation. They're confused. The enemy has gotten so far into their mind and their soul. But this word, cuts deeper. Because it's living. It's active. And God goes down there and pulls that out. And he sets every person free.
Number 2, he was hired by Tim Walz. Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota. And even though Minnesota leans Democrat, it's worth noting that the margin of victory for Democrats has narrowed in recent elections. Which means that Minnesota is really a purple state. It's not red or blue, it's kind of in the middle, and it's a mixture of both. No one is surprised that Tim Walz would actually appoint a very diverse array of voices in a nonpartisan advisory committee. As a matter of fact, the 60-person board Butler served on was unpaid and bipartisan. And despite serving under Dems, Butler last registered to vote in 2022 as a Republican. Democratic governor of a purple state got a 60-person board with diverse opinions to advise him. What a fucking concept. See, that's the difference between you and us. We actually believe in freedom and democracy, the shit that y'all claim to believe in, but fucking don't. Finally, here's the last piece. Oh, but they found no kings.
And they're saying that. So Hortman did vote with a Republican measure that happened to end Medicaid for adults, immigrants, undocumented immigrants. But that was part of a bipartisan agreement to where they got more leeway on a different budget issue. Like their budget's kind of fucked right now. So they got more leeway on a different budget issue for the DFL group because she agreed ahead of time that she would. So it says all House Republicans voted for the bill with Speaker Melissa Hortman, DFL Brooklyn Park, casting the 68th vote. Although she said as recently as last Friday that she does not agree with this measure, she can say she was true to her word and stuck to the deal made with Speaker Lisa DeMuth, a Republican from Cold Springs. Her vote also gave all present DFL House members cover to vote against the bill that was against the party's base, but ultimately necessary to secure movement in other budget areas. So it was bipartisan. That's the way shit's supposed to work. That's the way shit's supposed to work. It should be in our Congress like that, right? They should make deals instead of unilaterally one party voting and passing everything. They should have to make deals to get bills through, no matter who the president is.
Flyers in his back seat. But here's the thing, flyers actually have information on them. I don't see any location, I don't see a date, I don't see a time on any of these stack of.
Yes. And she was crying after the interview after she did it. But it let the rest of her party vote the way they wanted to, and it got them some relief in the budget for other measures that they needed.
We knew that there was no Kings protests happening all across the country on June 14th, but specifically in Minnesota. It is more likely that with this man's history, he actually went and saw these fucking signs somewhere that were going to be given to protesters for that day who didn't bring anything but wanted to hold something, and actually grabbed them and put them in his car to fucking throw them away. The way that y'all are constantly caught every election removing and ripping up signs from your political opponent every fucking election. Baby, here's the best part of all of this, because if you tuned out, I'm gonna need you to tune right the fuck back in. Vance Luther Bolter left behind a manifesto listing the names of 70 politicians. The list included dozens of other Democrats from Minnesota, including Governor Walz, U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar, U.S. Senator Tina Smith, and State Attorney General Keith Ellison. And
all Democrats.
The hit list included abortion provider clinics and Planned Parenthood. I'm gonna let y'all in on a motherfucking secret. Democrats, liberals, and progressives don't try to kill their own. And we for damn sure allegedly don't ask for one of our own to participate in the staging of an assassination of a politician in order to get sympathy political votes to win a fucking election. And in the process, allegedly, actually kill him and then bury the story, never to talk about it again because it went fucking further than you thought it would. We certainly don't do that shit. Y'all
damn it.
Could never, would never, will never be the same.
Damn it. Here's a good conspiracy. How did the mask shave off so much weight and make him so short? Vance is 6'1", 220 pounds. The guy in the image is only a foot and a half above the door handle. That's like 5'6" maybe, not to mention he's fit. Smells fishy to me. Over 6 foot and around 200 pounds is pretty slim, to be honest with you. I don't think this weight's right. When I saw his gut and that sideways picture, I think this is his driver license weight, right? 6'1", 220 is pretty slim. No, I mean, at 6 foot, I had to weigh 198 pounds in the Army, and it made me look like a fucking meth head. So say 6 foot, 200 pounds, I look like a fucking meth head. Yeah, that's pretty slim. Anyways, you know, the conspiracy's got to keep going.
About this shirt. Yeah, because this doesn't look like Republicans. Like her shirt, I think, therefore I am a Democrat. He seems pretty happy with her. And his shirt, that is certainly not a Republican shirt.
Well, thank God, because that's not a Republican and that's not him.
And they're attending the BLM rallies. I don't know many Republicans that dress up like this and attended the BLM protests, which turned into the BLM riots. Yeah, he seems pretty happy there. Huh. That's weird. It's almost like you guys are full of shit. Yeah.
By the way, you want to hear let me tell me if you notice anything different between this elder millennial video.
Let me get this straight. Now you can
from a day ago, or at least it was posted a day ago.
From the gates at the Capitol, rush the Capitol Police on the Capitol steps, and that's a good thing.
Not the context of the video, just the video itself. Who cares about this? They went and sat on the steps. Is that what happened on January 6th?
Oh, fuck. And I know there's going to be a ton of liberals telling me, oh, well, they just went there to sit on the steps. No, that's not what they did. They tried to rush past the Capitol Police officers, and then when they were fought off by the police, with some of them having to be thrown down the stairs, then they sat down because they saw the additional Capitol Police officers with firearms coming down the steps. So they
remember this image right here.
Sat down. But I was just under the impression that it was a bad thing to storm the gates of the Capitol. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. So wait, let me get this straight.
All right, remember this image right here, and then I'm going to take it to a more recent video. Let's just do this one.
Okay, so let's just address.
Does it look different? If you scroll through his timeline, every video, look at that background. Every video, look at that background. Every fucking video, look at the background. Then we get this.
Okay, so let's just address a couple weird things about this recent shooter from, let's just call it a skeptical mind. Like, you can be a Democrat, you can be a Republican, you can be liberal, you can be conservative. Just be skeptical with me for a second here. So this man is in his 50s. He apparently is the CEO of an NGO, a non-government organization, that has regularly received funding from the government. So shit's going pretty good. Life is going pretty good. Now, this man has a wife and he has kids. He also has a nice big house with those wife and kids. However, when we find him, he was not living with his wife and kids in that nice big house. No, he was renting a room in an old-ass house with 3 other dudes. Like, not a place. He was renting a room. And it seems, from the only other roommates we've met, a man who was first described as his neighbor, and I guess he was his neighbor because he was in the bedroom next to him, is a massively overweight, massively over-emotional man, also in his 50s. Now, this shooter apparently also had multiple vehicles, so he wasn't hurting for money. Dude had a few cars at that house, yet he was still living in a room with other 50-year-old men.
The few cars at the house seem to be the ones that he bought at auction for his security business he was trying to start.
Super emotional men, all while being CEO.
And I think one was in the backyard
of a non-government organization that receives funding, all while having been appointed to the government of the state. And apparently, while he was living in that room with those other guys, with the vehicles in the driveway, none of them noticed him putting police lights on one of his vehicles or installing the siren.
Well, so again, you're just wrong.
On one of his vehicles. And in addition to that, nobody had any questions why a 50-something-year-old man was living with other 50-something-year-old men while he had a home with his wife and kids not that far away. Like I said, don't look at this from a conservative or liberal point of view. Just be a little skeptical. And with that skeptical mind, ask yourself.
Well, he stayed there. He rented a room, and it was a couple days a week while he was working in the city because his house, where his family lives, is a couple hours away.
Does any of that sound reasonable? Okay, so let's just address a couple weird things about this recent shooter from, let's just call it a skeptical mind. You can be a Democrat, you can be a Republican, you can be liberal, you can be conservative. Just be skeptical with me for a second.
So clearly you can tell the background's changed, right? Right? We can tell the background's changed. Let's look at this. Why would the background change? It's kind of weird, huh?
Let's do an update. I'm sitting and waiting for my internet to come back up so that I can continue to do my job. So why not give an update? I got up this morning bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to tackle the day and help Joe get put away. So I called the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. Lovely folks over there. We are loving our Leos over in Hillsborough right now. And they were kind enough to update their arrest warrant bulletin to say that he might be leaving town. They're also going to go ahead and give a call over to Tampa, St. Pete, and Miami-Dade to see if he's planning on traveling through either of those airports. And if he is, TSA's got your number, buddy. And then, well, I mean, it's not guaranteed, but they're looking for you. And then I was kind enough to let them know that it looks like he might be headed to VidCon on the 19th and possibly flying around the 17th or 18th out of one of those two airports.
Bro's got warrants.
Maybe even Orlando. I'll be sure to update them on that. Next, they referred me over to the clerk of court, and I spoke to some lovely folks over there, too. Always love getting a chance to chat with the clerks.
So his LinkedIn was a lot of bullshit, right? It was heavily padded. Some shit was just made up. He doesn't really own a security company. He wanted to start one, bought 2 cars at auction, claimed that he had already started it, kind of deal. The NGO or whatever, he ran some type of thing called Red Lion Group. And I think it might have been bullshit too. Red Lion Group. Obviously right wing, but I think it was bullshit too.
Since I don't work in the public sector anymore. And they were very interested in what I had to say, too. In fact, they gave me the name of his probation officer and were kind enough to let me leave Megan a voicemail. So as soon as she calls me back, I'll have another update for you guys. Hang in there with me. Listen, the wheels of justice grind slow but fine. And while the cops have a bunch of people to look for and maybe not all the time in the world to dedicate to Joe, I'm looking for one person. I got that time. Looking for you, Joe.
He claimed to be the CEO of Red Lion Group, whatever the fuck that is. It says Praetorian Guards Security Services wasn't listed on the LinkedIn profile that has his name and photo, but Boltier calls himself on the social media platform a CEO of a company called Red Lions Group, though he was currently open to work. It's not clear, and he was looking for work, yeah. It's not clear what the company did. The website linked to his LinkedIn profile for Red Lion Group is currently down. 2 years ago, he wrote on LinkedIn he was currently in the Democratic Republic of Congo working on several projects. He added Red Lion Group, had a great meeting with the new governor of Congo Central to talk about our private business projects that are all moving forward. Just last month, Boltier has a post that says he was looking to get back. But the way that MAGA minds work are like, oh, this sounds like an NGO. Oh, he must have been getting money from USAID. Oh, Elon Musk shut down USAID and he's an angry liberal that doesn't get any money anymore because he was scamming USAID. So now this is why he's doing just crazy. She has other videos and there's other people making fun of him.
Balls calling people criminals. Roll the clip.
Our laws say you cannot be in our country illegally, and the punishment for being in our country illegally is to be deported. You either believe that laws should be followed or you don't. You're not a better person because you think... He
violated his probation for his DUI. So the affidavit I'm going to show you in a second, he missed 2 meetings. He didn't do his community service. He hasn't paid his last 2 payments, all on his probation.
Group of people should be able to ignore the law. And this is such a childish...
He didn't update him that he moved either.
...to have. You either follow the rule of law and believe in the rule of law, or you don't. I'm always going to be on the side of people who do.
Meanwhile, you have an active warrant for violation of probation issued on June 8th, 2025. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and this isn't legal advice, but here you have 2 options. Stipulate to the facts of the violation or not stipulate to the facts of the violation. Either way, you have to go before an honorable court to quash this warrant. But given your past, of failure to appear, failure to pay, contempt of court, violation of probation prior, you're going to have an uphill battle. Court is actively looking for you, and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is also looking for you. And what are you going to do?
Joseph Anthony Redden II, I think's his name.
You're going to move to...
And he lives in a place called what was it called? Like Jumpo or something, Florida. It definitely ended in an O.
Girl, give me a break. Remember that criminal past I was telling you about? Criminal traffic, eviction, criminal traffic, civil traffic, civil action. And you have the nerve to call us criminals.
Let me show you the, this is the one she has affidavit. Let's just go to her page.
Let's do an update. I'm sitting and waiting for my internet to come back up.
Hey guys, I'm getting ready to head to bed, but I just want to take a minute to say that I think I'm going to let Joe do a little good for this world vicariously through me. So I've been seeing a lot of comments on my videos saying that I'm just doing this to make money off the videos. And I'm not going to lie, I am monetized. They got the video taken down that shows the actual warrant with the affidavit. So
oh shit,
live from
they took it down.
For News at 9, we bring you a story about a MAGA creator, well known in the TikTok community. His name, or he goes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Red Lions Group might not have been an L. It's Lions, plural. Red Lions Group might have been something that he was doing with the security firm. It says Red Lions Group Private Security Solutions. So maybe the Proletarian LLC or whatever. Proletarian LLC. Maybe it isn't an NGO. They're just saying that because the website they said the website looked like an NGO. Maybe it all has to do with him lying about his security company hasn't even started yet.
The older millennial. And you'll know his material from recent posts about ICE and the things that are going on right now in politics, in our nation, in our extremely charged community. He seems to support the efforts to deport those who are here as undocumented individuals. He even goes so far as to provide accolades for these horrifying raids that we see happening across America. Today we bring you live from the actual court records that warrant and affidavit. Let's take a look at it now.
So it says you will not change your residence of employment. It says probationer failed to notify probation specialist of change of residence. You will not, or you will report in person. Probationer failed to report on 4/18/2025 and on 5/19/2025. As scheduled, probationer failed to notify probation specialist if unable to report. You will pay reparations or whatever. Probationer failed to pay on 2 different dates, April 2025, May of 2025, totaling $140. You will be responsible for any special conditions. Probationer failed to initiate 50 hours of community service or provide proof thereof as of 5/22/2025. So all of those are a violation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different condition violations on his probation from a DUI.
My goodness, America. Can we see where it went wrong from here? One might ask, why would a person who knows that they still have 5 months on probation put their house for sale and then allegedly state in a lie that they plan on moving to Europe? Such a quandary. And such a small amount of money to be in such a pickle. One would think that, given his mass following and claimed income on TikTok and his other social media platforms, that $140 would be no problem. Again, something to ponder. And one must really wonder why you wouldn't show up for your appointments. Gosh, America, so many questions. Well, thanks for joining us here at Live News 9 at the Bunny B Funny Studios. We hope that today has been educational. And remember, this is a wanted person, so if you should see Mr. Redden, a.k.a. the older millennial, out in public, do not approach him. Do not approach him as he may be, I don't know, an older millennial.
I just think it's funny because he's like, either the law exists or it doesn't. DUI, people get DUIs, right? People have issues with probation sometimes, you know. But he's better than everybody, right? There's no way you're just saying that they didn't do their paperwork to live here.
Simply contact the Largo Police Department and let them know the address of his location. Let's make sure we get this dangerous criminal off the streets. They got the video taken down that shows the actual...
All right, let's go ahead and be in your imaginary world. Let's pretend.
Sir, I'm exhibiting the same joy and reverence that one of his followers exhibited when they slid into my DMs talking about how they were going to schmurder me, and then graphically, and when I say graphically, I mean graphically, describing how they were going to grape and assault my 8-year-old daughter before they murdered her. All because I made a video saying that I didn't think Joe had an attorney and I didn't think he was going to sue anybody for defamation. And you know, when I sent him a message telling him that he needed to call off his followers, that it had gone too far, and that I wasn't the only female receiving threats like that, he decided to ignore it and do nothing about it, which makes him just as fucking culpable as his follower. And the fact that you would be okay with that and support that speaks volumes about you as well, sir. But you know what? You keep supporting him and you keep defending him and you call me whatever you want. I don't care. I just consider the source and move on. But at the end of the day, maybe, just maybe, you'll end up in the same little pokey that he's in, and he can teach you how to bend over real good and right.
All right, let's go ahead and be in your imaginary world. Let's pretend.
Sir, I'm exhibiting the same joy and reverence that one of his followers. All right, guys, we have the warrant and affidavit. Are y'all ready? Let me just preface.
There's also a big rumor that I haven't covered yet because it's just a rumor to me. I haven't seen evidence of it, that he may be under investigation for some blue sky laws, which are like state level regulations to protect like investors. You guys remember, this is the guy I covered way back. And he said, let's start a blue collar hedge fund, and had all these people donating $500 to start this blue collar hedge fund. And him and 2 of his buddies on TikTok were going to manage it. And it was called the MCU. You guys remember that? A long ass time ago. That's the same guy. That's older millennial. That's how I first found him.
This by saying one thing. Joe, I know you're seeing my videos, and I know you're running from the cops. I've seen it from your green screens and the fact that your backdrop has changed. And sweetheart, just know that I have made this my whole ass life. Call me a stalker, call me whatever you want. I want to see you go to jail. I want to see you suffer the consequences, just like you tell everybody else that they should. You know, like whenever you were screaming defamation and that Sarah needed to suffer the consequences. But anyways, let's get on to the warrant, shall we? This is going to be super fun. Here we go.
There's all of his information. Affidavit again. Another copy of it. I checked it to make sure it wasn't 2. It's the exact same thing again. Signed.
So, Joe, it looks like you failed to appear for a couple of your probation.
It is kind of weird that this warrant comes out and suddenly he's posting videos in a different spot. No. And he says he's planning on traveling to VidCon. And he mentioned in a live the other day that he might just pack up everything he owns and move to Europe.
Reports. It also looks like you failed to pay your money. And at the end of the day, you also forgot to initiate your community service, which would have been so easy for you since you're a creator. You could have just sold your platform to do that and gotten somebody to sign off on your hours, but you elected not to do that. Oh, darn. So here we go. Now you get to be arrested. And I can promise you that when you are arrested,
he could even make content out of that and probably make money off of it. Like, I'm down here helping out my community, Habitat for Humanity, or picking up trash, or, you know what I mean? Like,
expeditiously
so stupid that he didn't do the shit.
And plaster it all over the internet. Let's do an update.
I think that's the first one we watched.
You know, I'm so glad you bring this up. Did you know that for all of his blustering, he still hasn't filed that defamation lawsuit? Hasn't even
claimed he was going to sue her because she's one of the people that said, hey, I think there's an investigation going on around their blue collar hedge fund.
Sent a letter to Sarah Smiles or the other guy. Sounds like he's full of shit, doesn't it? Crazy thing is this. Apparently Joe knows he is in trouble because you notice the change in his backdrop. Well, that happened shortly after I was kind enough to let the Largo Police Department know that he was posting from home. That's right. They are looking for him, and they're going to get him before he's able to take off to Europe with all of his followers.
Apparently she contacted the police department and they said that they went by his house, but he wasn't there. And she said, well, he's been posting from his home because that's the backdrop. And then suddenly he's got that plain white backdrop. How weird.
Followers' money. Yeah. See, everybody wants to say that I'm petty and I'm bitter, but you know, I did a thing about him suing people, and all of a sudden in my comments were horrible people. In my messages were people threatening to me and my 8-year-old daughter, telling about the horrible things they were going to do to my baby girl. No, see, this isn't bitter. This is justice. This is karma. And he's going to sit in jail for a long time. And yeah, maybe I am a little bit happy that I just might be the instrument that puts him there. I'm not looking to be famous, but I am looking.
I hope. Even if it's just a technicality, like he has to go to jail just to get booked and released immediately, fuck him. Dude, as much bullshit as he spreads, the lies, no fact check, the way he talks about fucking other people, like, fuck him.
To help him be confined for the rest of his life.
Oh, there's the one I was looking for. Largo, Florida. He lives in Largo, Florida. 7501 142nd Street, Avenue North. What did I say? Jumpo? Something like that. Violation of probation, DUI, bond, none. Violation of probation.
You know, I'm so glad you bring this up. Did you know that for all of his blustering, he still hasn't
Not yet.
lawsuit? Hasn't even sent a letter to Sarah Smilesworth, the other guy. Sounds like he's full of shit, doesn't it? Crazy thing is this. Apparently.
Hey, Joe, the state of Florida is looking for you. You have a warrant out for your arrest. I'm not kidding. Wait, here. That's you, Joe.
Oh, no. No.
Right?
Get some fucking payback. Clock in, event date 6/8, event creation date 6/9. Like it just happened last week, I guess.
6/8/2025. Violation of probation, warrant issued, affidavit.
It wasn't on the website until 2 days ago, though.
They don't have it posted yet. I'm dying. Please tell me what you did to violate your probation. Please. I mean, I'm going to find out on Monday anyways, but please tell me which. Oh my God, I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know. Oh my God, I can't wait till Monday. I can't wait. And I really think I just need to take a minute, just a brief second to say that this is unfortunate timing for you, Joe, because you quite obviously have a couple of other agencies looking into you, and now, now they're gonna know where the fuck to find you. Hey, Joe, the state of Florida is looking for you. You have a warrant out for your arrest.
Pretty crazy. All right, guys, I'm ending early tonight. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow for a CAP exam with the VA. So consider supporting the show. We're a little bit short this month, but that's how we pay the bills around here. Usually, that's the extra that pays the bills. So if you can support the show, great. Do that at coldbeer.fund. If you can't, understand. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to everybody. I probably will not be in the mood to do a show tomorrow. I'll let you know, but plan on not being a show tomorrow. I'll be pretty upset afterwards. So, but I'll see you the next time I'm live. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. See you next time. Have a good night, guys.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
His address is not where he lives right now. His address comes back to like a gigantic trailer park. Like a nice one, but it's like fucking huge.
Came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believer?
The 7501 142nd Avenue North.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of.
Yeah, if we don't survive the nuclear or the Iran or whatever, I guess I will see you on the next one. I don't know.
He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen him do videos on like his front porch. It did not look like a trailer, but.
It's about to get lit, get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Give me oh my God. Damn it.
Largo is trailer park heaven. This one that comes back at 7501, it looks like a really nice place. But there's probably 300 to 500 trailers in here, and it's got like a community center and a lake and a park and all kinds of shit here. But it looks like a really nice place, but it's huge.
We say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They be working copy on Cox that came first, 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Ass on slow and bullshit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience. It's hard to sleep at night.
Oh, by the way, on Trump's Trump cell phone advertising, guess what? They have the body of water off the U.S. Coast of Louisiana and Texas labeled.
Here we go. I think I started some shit.
It's still the Gulf of Mexico. When you look up their service area, it's still the Gulf of Mexico. Wild how that works, huh? Have a good night, guys.
Those guts, because you're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses in your mother's basement, and I won't even give out your dime store.